Hello, today is day 4 of my 10-day fast and study of the Ten Commandments. Today we're going to be focusing on the fourth commandment, and I'm probably going to go through this pretty quickly because, today the weather's been crazy. It's been raining, it's been hailing. I don't know if I'm going to have to go get my bathtub or what, but I'm going to do this really quickly. Okay, so the fourth commandment says, Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. And that is found in Exodus 20, verse 8. Basically, what that is saying is on the seventh day of the week, we need to be resting. The Sabbath means it's a rest or an intermission and a rest of the heart, not so much a physical rest, like sleeping all day. Mm-mm. Um, we need one in every 6 days for rest and worship. Um, and in Genesis 2, verse 2 through 3, hold on, let me read this to you. It says, And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it, he had rested from all his work which God created and made. Because we were made in the image of God, therefore we must apply that principle. Um, the, Number one, the command came from God, um, and he made that day holy. Second, it's the only commandment that begins with remember. Um, a lot of people don't keep the Sabbath, and you got people who do keep the Sabbath who still probably aren't going to be the elect. But it is one of the commandments, and it says remember because we were once slaves back in Egypt. So until God saved us. So that's also why it says remember. Also, the Sabbath was made for man, not vice versa. And Mark um, 2 verse 27 talks about the Sabbath being made for man. Anything else? Oh, and it's funny that we're doing the fourth commandment, and it's speaking of the Sabbath because we have actually just came into the Sabbath. It is Friday. It's after sunset, and when God created the earth, one day was sunset to sunset. So Friday sunset to Saturday sunset is the Sabbath. Um, Actually, Saturday, the name Saturday is the Latin derivative from the Sabbath. So we just entered into the Sabbath. And one last thing, a story that I found interesting was in the Bible when Jesus was on the earth. The fair when Jesus was on the earth, he was healing people on the Sabbath. He was doing stuff on the Sabbath, and the Pharisees tried to challenge him and was like, why are you working on the Sabbath? You healing people. You're not supposed to do that on the Sabbath. And Jesus basically let them know that it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath. He did not consider healing people work. It was doing good and helping people. So, um, yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And it's lawful to do good on the even though we're not supposed to work, and that's our day of rest. It's lawful to do good. So that's pretty much all of it for the fourth commandment. Tomorrow we'll be going over the fifth commandment, which is I don't even know what the fifth commandment is. I don't have it memorized. But since we've done the first four commandments, the first four commandments are speaking of our duty as Christians towards God. First commandment says, Thou shalt not have any other gods before me. Two says, You shouldn't have any graven or carved images or any pictures. We shouldn't worship anything that is not God. Three speaks about taking the Lord's name in vain. We're not supposed to do that. And the fourth commandment talks about keeping the Sabbath. These four commandments are the four commandments that show our love for God. And the last six commandments are the commandments that show our love to one another, which is why thou shalt not kill, steal, commit adultery, honor thy mother and father, all of those things, because it's our duty as Christians to show our love to one another. So that concludes my um fourth day of my 10-day fast and study of the 10 Commandments. And until tomorrow.